Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we got an interesting one. We're looking at a drag queen going a little bit crazy, demanding that someone stop filming in public. Yeah, interesting one. Let's get into it.
Do I need permission to film you?
Yeah, you do.
Why is that? We're in a public space.
Because you don't have my permission.
Well, you're in public. That's
Doesn't mean you can... It's okay, you know what? You can spread your hate.
I'm not spreading any hate.
Well, you are, because you're saying we do things that we don't.
I didn't
But
say
we love you.
You called me over.
Yeah, I don't want you filming me.
Well, you're in public.
So now you're bullying, so... It's okay, film me.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, well, the argument made by the drag queen makes no sense. I mean, first, he or she, I don't know the pronouns, but they said, you know, you're saying that you do things that we don't. But how? Why? She's just filming? And then, of course, to go on to say you're bullying. But how? What? She's literally filming. She said nothing. She didn't yell. She wasn't belligerent. She didn't heckle. So I don't understand the argument from the drag queen.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a public space. You're in a public space. You know it. The whole thing is set up there. It's going to be recorded.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people recorded. You seem to be came over to her.
Coming on to
her maybe a little bit as well. Maybe that was the whole point, right? But you came over to her to engage.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. It's very confusing.
That's kind of how it feels at the moment, isn't it? It's like inflation is like almost double digits, or still is double digits, and fire is being poured on it, and it's just going everywhere.
Yeah, the government is like, oh, we don't know what to do, so everybody gets some fire, and everyone's running around, and it's just mass chaos.
Jesus, I want to know what happened to that guy.
All the girls that are being 20 right now and absolute whores in the club, whatever not, in 10 years, they're going to be 30, trying to settle down, and realize that all the good friends are taken. They're going to claim that they were ransomed their whole life, but while they were partying for the past 10 years, all the good girls got cuffed by the good guys. And so now, when they look at all the men that are options, they're going to be competing with the now 20-year-old good girls and be stuck. Why? Because all the good guys are gone. You missed your chance being a fucking whore, bitch.
Okay, for real, this is why men go their own way. Hashtag men go. This is why. This is the reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially that 20 to 30-year-old woman now. They have so many options, and like, if they want to date, as we've seen in other clips, like they just go onto Tinder and 5 minutes later they've got matches.
Well, the 20-year-olds have these options, right? But once you hit 30,
you
your
hit the
options
wall.
start declining. So if you've been wild and reckless and run through in your 20s, then you might not be so successful in your 30s if you're looking around for that good guy that you want to settle down with when you hit 31 and he's like, I don't think so, honey.
I mean, nobody really thinks about the consequences when they do anything in their 20s.
No.
Women need to just take those accountabilities. Like, yeah, you're not going to have the guy you want if you get to 30 and you're still single.
Right.
Sorry.
And especially if you haven't lived a certain lifestyle, which is why I read books and prayed all throughout my 20s, and look where that got me.
I knew one of us was lying at some point.
In old America, we would never censor free speech.
No, we would not.
Even though Woodrow Wilson jailed 5,000 Americans for speaking out against World War I.
That's one example. Would you like a lollipop?
And locking people up without giving them a hearing, like Guantanamo.
Many of them innocent people.
FDR jailed 100,000 Japanese Americans. Almost all of them innocent, many of them children.
The Japanese internment camps were an isolated incident for which we remain ashamed. One would hope we'd learn from it. Seems we haven't.
Spying on our own citizens. That would never happen in the America you grew up in. What about Nixon? He spied. Do I get a lollipop for Watergate?
Nixon did not represent the American
What about
family.
LBJ? He used the FBI to spy on reporters. Bill Clinton.
You're going to equate Bill Clinton with what goes on today?
According to the ACLU, Bill Clinton expanded stealth surveillance far beyond any previous administration ever, and that was during a time of peace.
Bill Clinton certainly never tortured people.
No. He practiced rendition, shipping suspects off to other countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt. And they tortured for us. During the Cold War, we did human experimentation. Innocent people, college students, mental patients, government-run experiments on unknowing victims. We tested everything from LSD to nerve gas. We exposed unwitting black men to syphilis, trying to discover a cure. We used them as guinea pigs. No, Judge, you haven't named one thing America is doing today that we haven't been doing for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So the point of this, and I have never watched Boston Legal. I don't know if it's a film or a show, but this is an excellent clip from it, right? And I think it's difficult sometimes to remember that we are in the best version of the best world ever at this point in time, right? And if we go back 50 to 100 years, as he's just explained, there have been so many bad things that happened, so many atrocities, so many things that we would consider like, holy crap, you're still in power after you did this? As you said, like Clinton expanded the phone hacking and tapping to no extent.
That's less than 50 years ago.
And that's not necessarily down to political allegiance, that's down to technology, right? Email became more prevalent, mobile phones became more prevalent, and they had to take those kind of actions to get transparency and intelligence from their side. At least they believe so, right? So it's very easy for us to say in this day and age, oh, things are difficult, things are challenging, we really need to deal with this. And we should really put into context sometimes how bad it was up until this point and how good we truly have it.
Call to get your car fixed. A man or a woman? Your toilet breaks down. Who do you...
This is one of the many reasons I cannot comprehend why so many men are in love with coaches like Pearl or Jordan Peterson, who just continue to perpetuate the idea that men are only useful for what they do and not who they are. Her literal argument for why we need men is to fix the car or fix the toilet. If we truly want to support men's mental health, then we have to change the way society sees the roles that men play, not just continue to perpetuate the old cycles that push them into modern-day slavery. And what better way to slow down the progression of men than to continue encouraging them to do manual labor jobs when we could be encouraging them to expand their leadership, their mentorship? So apart from the obvious misandrist, remember there's no greater enemy than someone disguised as your advocate, encouraging you to stay exactly the same.
So it's an interesting point. I don't 100% agree with it, but I thought it was an interesting discussing point. So make sure you comment down below. Do you agree with what she's saying? Do you disagree? I presume most are going to disagree, but make sure you comment down below on this particular one as well. My thought is she's got an interesting point. Now, I think especially the manosphere areas, a lot of them will say, yeah, a lot of the jobs, plumbers, dangerous jobs, are done by men. And that's what Pearl, the clip at the beginning, was trying to say. It's like, yeah, plumbers, guys. Electricians, guys. Manual labor jobs, guys. They do those things, right? And especially like those are slightly more high paying, it's a good argument to use against, is there a gender wage gap? Well, no, because men generally do more dangerous jobs, and that's where that conversation generally goes down. But what she is saying is like, yeah, there are more things to men than just their jobs. And I think that sometimes that message gets lost a little bit with Pearl and some of the other areas that, yeah, men are these things. They are the providers. They do have more fiscally increasing jobs than women. But there's so much more to us. We are better than that. And I did agree with her on that kind of particular point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously men are more than just their manual labor. You're more than just these two hands to open the jar, you know, of course. But do you have a place in society as, like you said, manual laborers, strength, stamina, jobs that require being dirty and gritty? Yes, you do have that place as well. But she's talking about also expanding leadership opportunities. You'll have all the leadership opportunities, not because specifically you're a man, but because you put in the time, you put in the work, you do all those things. So I think men actually right now have it both ways.
I tried hiring, firing, and no one just wants to do the fucking job, Gary. Is it me that I'm not giving the job properly?
It's 100% you. Even the way that you're casting judgment on your employees already makes me know that you're not a good leader. But the answer is it's you. The number one mistake is we expect our employees to work hard, but the problem is they don't own the business. You can't ask an employee to work as hard as you, or you create a fake expectation versus how much you compensate them. That's like asking somebody to love your child as much as you love them. It's not natural. You work for them, they don't work for you.
Yeah, some solid advice at the end of this. Again, a bit of hope, a bit of knowledge. As a boss, as a manager, you are the one responsible for your team, right? If they aren't doing their job, that's down to you. Yeah. If they're crap at their job, that's down to you. You've got to take responsibility. You've got to take some ownership in life.
Yeah, and if they leave their job, again, that's down to you.
And we can take that regards into relationships as well. If they don't know what you're expecting out of them, that's down to you. If you can't communicate exactly what you want out of the relationship or how to improve or what you need, that's down to you.
Yeah.
If they screw that up, that's on you.
And if you're not making steps to change something that's bad or toxic or wrong, again, that is down to you.
Yeah. And on that bombshell, I think it's time for us to end. Again, if you could kind of do the subscription, you could do the messages, you do the comments, do the likes, do all that fun stuff that really helps us out. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.